This is the IST Health Tip of the Day. I'm your host, Roberto Parker. This podcast, we tackle the tough questions related to exercise, training for athletes, human performance, biochemical, biomechanical dysfunctions, problems that sometimes you have questions about that you don't quite know the answer to. So stay tuned, enjoy, take good notes, and God bless.
3 ways to lose body fat. Americans are overweight and overfat. That's the bottom line. That might hurt some of your feelings out there. I'm sorry, but that's the bottom line, folks. Americans are overweight and overfat. Now, that's just not Roberto talking. That's the CDC talking. That's the World Health Association talking. We are overfat and overweight in this country. That is the big reason why we're having a problem with this coronavirus, because those people have a higher propensity and higher risk in terms of receiving viruses. Not just the coronaviruses, but other types of diseases that are more metabolic in nature. What is the purpose of body fat? Insulation is one, to keep us insulated from the harsh weathers. Second, cholesterol. Cholesterol makes fat, or fat makes cholesterol. I don't know which one is which, but they both are interlinked together. And without that, you're not going to manufacture hormones such as testosterone, such as estrogen, such as progesterone, such as cortisol. You're not going to make those things. And those are crucial for living. Thirdly, neurotransmission. Without body fat, you're not going to transmit messages from the brain to the muscle and tissues back to the brain. Can't happen. You got to have that communication highway there. And those nerves are made up of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is made up of fat. So you have to have a certain amount of body fat. Now, anybody that says that you got to have 0% body fat and survive doesn't know what the heck they're talking about. You have to have some body fat. I'm not going to get into that right now as to what the right percentages are, but you have to have some body fat. Now, let's get into the ways that you can take off body fat if you have an excess of it. Fat utilization. Now, the best way to improve fat utilization is by increasing the mitochondrial volume of the body. Now, go back to your high school days, you studied the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Cells are made up of mitochondria. Now, the biggest organ in the body is the muscle, or I should say muscles. Muscles are basically cells. So the more muscle you have, the more mitochondria volume you have. So how do you improve muscle? By strength training primarily. Yes, you might read somewhere that cardiovascular training will help improve and increase mitochondrial load, which it does, but strength training is the best way to increase muscle density and muscle tissue. Also make myokines. Myokines are like hormones made by muscles, which communicate, once again, with different tissues of the body. Strength training and circuit training are your best ways to do that. Secondly, now I got to spend a little time in this one, metabolic efficiency and turnover. And what we're going to do here, we're going to increase the efficiency of how we use carbohydrates and how we use fat in the body. Now, this can get a little bit complicated unless you're paying close attention here. So pay close attention and write this down. You have to cycle strength and power exercises, which I talked about in part 1 there. Strength and power exercises along with circuit training, cycled with the proper amount of calories and the right amount of sleep and the right amount proportion of nutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Now, it's going to vary from person to person. It's not simple just to say, okay, take this many grams of protein, this much grams of fat, this much grams of carbohydrate, work out 2 hours a day, and you're good. That doesn't work for everybody because everybody's going to be a little bit different based upon your biochemical metabolic type. Now, the second way to do it is high calorie, low calorie, alternating high cal one day, low cal the next, or high cal for 2 days, low cal for 1 day. Once again, it's going to vary from person to person. Another way is high fat, low carb, high carb. All those three entities are going to be relative to what you're doing with your exercise program and how active you are. If you're doing a lot of muscle teardown activities such as strength training, or let's say just working out in the woods somewhere, chopping wood all day long, you're tearing down muscle. You can take in a few more carbohydrates. Make sure they're good quality carbohydrates. If you're not as active, you don't need as much carbohydrates. So I kind of give you a secret here a little bit. So it's all going to be relative to your activity, your sleep habits, and your body type once again. Now, another way is to eat less and eat more, which can also include some intermittent fasting. One day you eat more, one day you eat less. And what we're doing, we're basically shocking the system here. Because with all the things I just mentioned there, you're building up, which is anabolic, and you're tearing down, which is catabolic. You don't want to do the same thing all the time. You just don't want to constantly fast or constantly undereat, because you have to do both. You have to switch gears. Undereat, overeat. More carbs, less carbs. More calories, less calories. High intense workouts, low intense workouts, recovery. You see where I'm flowing with this now. And that, once again, that's going to vary from person to person. So don't ask me, well, Roberto, just give me a cut and dry program and I'm good. No, it's not cookie cutter. You have to change it up about every 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. And some of you that are more athletic got to change it up maybe every week or maybe every other day. It's going to vary from person to person. Once again, I know I keep saying that, don't I? Okay, now the third one. You have to detox. Detoxification, this is where fasting really factors in here. You must eat less and exercise less, because that will help to detox the body. Now, there's a certain cycle you want to hit when you're doing that. Now, because if you eat less, exercise less for too long, or eat more, exercise more for too long, you're going to overload the adrenals and the liver. And that's going to cause toxicity in the body. And the body's going to regress. It's going to open up the door for you gaining weight or not losing weight like you should, and also opening up the door for other things to happen in the body, certain other metabolic disorders and diseases. So you kind of get where I'm coming from now. Those are the three things that I want to talk to you about. And it's all going to be relative to your body type, your metabolic type, and really your motivation level, which I've mentioned many, many times in these podcasts. So if you have any questions about anything, you want to talk to me about it, please give me a call, guys. I'll give you a 30-minute free consultation to see if it's a good fit for you and for me, and we can go from there. And I can design a program for you that is cycling, low carb, low fat, low cal, high cal, exercise, less exercise, more. We can do that all based upon your metabolic type. We have to get to know each other for me to do that, because I'm not going to give you a cookie cutter program. That does not work long term, and it's not good for your body in the first place, because that's not good for your metabolism. So give me a call, 816-405-7703. Email us rwpsports@yahoo.com. This has been another IST Health Tip of the Day. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.